What's up, guys? This is Saiyan here coming at you with another Dragon Ball CCG deck profile. You know, the good old 2008 2009 card game that died after 5 sets. What's up with Bandai and dying card games? You know, Gundam MS War, Gundam War, this Dragon Ball CCG, dozen different Digimon games that came out. They have dropped Chrono Clash, stop support. Anyway, I know. Shut up. So this deck profile is an iteration on the budget Goku deck profile that I've given to you guys during last Christmas of 2019. If you haven't checked it out yet, then make sure you check it out. I will either leave a link in the description below, probably actually leave it on the final teaser videos, but check it out because it's a really budget deck. It's very cheap to build. Just need to find a couple of cards, and after that, just go crazy with it. But this one, I kind of made it better. So let's check it out. Obviously, the main goal with that particular deck was to keep it budget. So I wasn't running any super rares. The only rares I was really running were, I think maybe the iteration you guys seen was with the Cell Junior ones, but I mostly tried to stick with either starter rares like the Set 1 Goku and using the Set 1 starter Krillin and things like that. But here, the only restriction I kept was still not to use any super rares, so I'm not using any super rares, but even the rare count is still very low. So turn zeros as usual, we're starting with 3 Yamchas. As I said, and I will say, this is probably the best zero drop in the game. It's a 3-0, just like your turn 0 Goku. Yeah, it is only a 1-0 if injured. Your Goku is a 2-0, but it gives you both Earth and Super Chi. It is human, it is Hermes style, which are important factors. In fact, I'd much rather have a human Hermes style than a Saiyan Hermes style, which is obviously the Goku. It has backup. Backup is amazing. When it comes to play, you search your deck for a female warrior. There's a lot of great female warrior cards in this game. Put on top of your deck, and basically you want Yamcha to be the lead warrior. Female warriors in this warriors team get +0/+1. Now, what's great about it is if you have like 2 females behind Yamcha, then they both get +0/+1. So it's just such a good card. Sets up your game, very powerful. Turn 0, amazing stuff. Loving Yamcha. Now, after I have thrown some shit on Goku, there you go, we are still, of course, running him. It's still an amazing card. But what Yamcha shows us is how crazy they went with Set 5. Now, if you guys didn't know, Sets 1 to 4 were actually developed by the Japanese Bandai team, but Set 5, it was actually designed by the American Bandai team, and that's where the game got fucked up. We also didn't get any promos for Set 5, and that is exactly the reason. But anyway, we were running the 3 turn 0 Gokus. Again, we like the Hermes style. We don't mind the Saiyan, but we just really want him to act as a beat stick, which of course he does. Now, I only run the 6 0 drops, but I am running 2 Ranfans. Now, Ranfan can be searched out by Yamcha, put on top of your deck, and every time this gal battles against a human plus male warrior, that human plus male warrior will get -1/-1 until its turn. It's just crazy good. So it's a must-have in this particular deck. If you were lucky enough to hit Yamcha, you search for Ranfan. You can hopefully defend Ranfan with Yamcha, particularly with the amount of turn cost techniques we got. It's likely that you will. And then you can just go town. These two together are a 5 team power. If you battle, these two are 16 power because obviously it gets the buff of Yamcha. Maybe your opponent gets another -1/-1 there. And we're running 2 Chaozus. This is the one that gets that gives your Tien a +1/+0. So it's almost like a 1-3 if he's behind Tien. It's not exactly, but you know what I mean. And I always wanted to have a deck where you can run the villain Chaozu with potentially not a villain Tien. Although the Set 1 Tien is amazingly good. Is it Set 1 or Set 2? It might be Set 2 actually. Yeah, this Chaozu and that TN is also set 2. That TN is like a 4-1, 4-1 on turn 3, I think, and it has Fierce 1 as well, so it's just like an absolute beat stick. And then it gets even stronger with Chaozu in play. So this is it for turn 0s, turn 1s. Let's move on to turn 2s. It's going to be very simple. We are running the Trunks Goten lineup. This, like, literally you draw into any one of these. You don't even have to draw into it because they both have backup. The likelihood of you finding any one of these guys by turn 2 is very, very likely. You play it, you search for the other, they buff each other up. The two of them together are basically an 8 team power. They can just go to town on their own. But again, human, Saiyan, male, all important stuff, and even more importantly, they come down for free, no cheat cost, perfect. 1 turn 3. The reason why I'm running 1 turn 3 because I'm very confident that you are going to hit one of these on turn 2, so turn 3 you're going to play the counter card. If God forbid you don't, you got Mutaito here. Mutaito is an excellent, very underrated card too. Human, male, Hermit style. Hermit style is really important on this guy. Costs you 1 Earth Chi to play, but it's not really an issue. I mean, if you look at it, we got 3 Yamchas. We already have 2 Ren fans, so we already have 5 Earth cards in here, and we have more, trust me, in the deck. So this guy is an absolute warrior when it comes to the to supporting teams with that 3-3-2-2 amazing stuff. And when his warriors move to your chi area due to showdown damage, give 1 damage to target warrior an opponent controls with a turn cost of 3 or less. That effect on its own is amazing. You can maybe you get OV'd. Mutaito gets injured. Next turn, what you can do is you can just go out, defend with Mutaito on its own. If he's killed, goes to chi, but then you can give 1 damage to one of your opponent's guys with turn cost 3. If that guy happens to be, let's say, a turn 2 Frieza, boom. Their 3-3 now turn into a 1-1 or a 0-1 most likely, because you're only using the starter Frieza if you don't have the set 1 super rare. So Mutaito is a great card. And he's also Hermes style. So that's turn 2, turn 3. There you go. Turn 4. To complement our Chaozu, we are running 2 TNs. TN is amazing in this deck because it gets us ideally another technique into our hands. So basically when you play this guy, you may move target technique from your chi into your hand and replace that with another card. It's 5-2-4-1, so if he has Chaozu behind him, the 2 of them together again are a team power of 8, which is very healthy. Also has backup, hey, look at that, Hermit style. He also has Master Shen style, which doesn't mean anything in this game. But the 5-2-4-1 solid stats backup, 2 more Earth symbols, just an amazing card. Absolutely love this team. And the other one for turn 4, and this is such a game changer, guys. Kibito Kai. Not only is, yes, he's a splash, obviously, we are not running alien nor unique, but he can come down with 0 chi cost, and he's a 4-4-2-2, very solid support warrior, has backup, and you can discard a warrior card that shares a name with Kibito Kai, and then you can put a growth coin on any warrior, any target warrior you control. What's great about this is that the additional copies of Kibito Kai do not become redundant. These guys replace the Cell Juniors that are in the deck. Basically, Cell Junior is the same because you can still play him. You can have up to 3 Cell Juniors down in play, no problem. Well, Kibito Kai, you can't play more than 1, but you can still turn the additional copies into growth coins, put them onto your warriors, just buff them up like that, and that is just really, really, really good. Very useful. Okay, so this is turn 4 now. We are skipping turn 5, and the reason for that being is because we ideally are going to play one of these guys turn 4, the other one turn 5. So that's basically why we are skipping turn 5 cards. We are immediately going to move to turn 6, and the top end of this deck is huge. It's humongous. So we're running 3 of the set 4 GT Super Saiyan Gokus. This card is an absolute beast. Again, Hermit style, male Super Saiyan. Does cost you one super cheap, but that's not the end of the world. He's a 7150. He's an absolute beater, and very, very, very importantly, he has super heal. So in either of the action phases, yours or your opponent's, you can discard a Goku card from your hand and you can heal this warrior. So this guy can go up against other teams single-handedly. He gets injured, it doesn't matter. You got probably another copy of Goku in your hand because you will have 5 redundant copies basically in the deck. Now, the only thing you have to be careful with, if you have a kick Goku down early in the game, when you get to turn 6, make sure that Goku goes into your chi, otherwise you can't play this guy, so that's something that you want to be aware of. But basically this guy doesn't need your senzu beans. This guy has all the other Goku copies that you can discard to him to heal him up. And he has super heal, so what? He's a 5-0, now you heal him up, he's now an 8-2. Boom! Amazing card, love it. Again, I was very much looking for a particular deck that can support, just easily support without having to rely on any other stuff to happen. Just straight up have 6 Goku cards in the deck you can benefit off of. And that's effect where you can heal itself is just absolutely huge. And then finally for turn 7 we're running the best Gohan card in the game, which is the Super Saiyan from set 5. It has super heal, it has toughness. Yes, it does cost you 2 super chi, but what you pay for, you get an excellent card. It's a 6274. It's amazing as a lead warrior, and it's an amazing support warrior when he's injured. He's still an amazing lead warrior. You probably do want to hold him back though. You don't want to lose this guy. He's very precious, especially after you pay 2 chi to get him out. And on top of that, just as our GT Goku, he can also heal himself, because when a warrior you control is discarded due to the showdown, you may heal this warrior. Now, imagine if you get to keep your Mutaito alive for a long period of time, but then something goes wrong, and then Mutaito does get injured, then he goes up, let's say your Gohan got injured as well, you send the Mutaito, you block with the Mutaito, Mutaito goes to the Chi, you give 1 damage to your opponent's turn 3 or less warrior, and you can also heal Gohan, and now he comes back as a 7-3. Which is amazing, and he gets injured, he's an 8-5, just an absolute beast. Probably one of the best, if not the best, endgame card is Gohan, just because, well, many reasons realistically. He is an uncommon, and I certainly can't think of any other 7 turn cost card that is uncommon. Rare, yeah, maybe. Super rare, absolutely. Most of the super rares are these very high cost beast sticks. It's very difficult to build decks without them. But this particular deck, keeping it lean, keeping it mean. Look at this, we can heal our own warriors. We got massive beat sticks for endgame. We got beat sticks early game. What are we gonna do now? Well, we're gonna support them with a fuckload of techniques and make sure our opponent does never get any breathing space. And we're going to be super evil about it. Starting out with immediately a splash, 3 dirty tricks. Well, I say 3 dirty tricks, actually we're looking at 6 techniques here, because you can then play them from your discard area as well. So these 3 dirty tricks basically give you 6 techniques, which is going to be super important in this deck. We're running 3 Jenkengus. Super amazing redundancy. Both of these cards come online after your turn 0 turn, because boss, like, opponent goes, okay, you go, you play Yamcha for example, you pass the turn, you immediately have these cards online. So that's what I'm saying, if you have any one of these, it's very, very easy to defend the Ramfan that you put on top of your deck. Just make sure you can. If you think you cannot, maybe it's better to open with a Kick Goku if you have that one, because that, even if he's injured, he's still a 2, which is good. It's very good. Of course, we're running Trunks, and you would be crazy not to run Burning Attack, the best technique in the game, period. It just does everything. It is just the best technique, honestly, I don't know what else to say. You can use it pretty much at any time, because it's actually strategy. It's a 2 turn cost, so it becomes online very quick. It's only 2 chi, which is very cheap for a technique, especially for a technique this versatile. You give out -2 turn cost, you give out -2/-2 to one of your opponent's warriors, and you may discard an event with 2 or less time counters on them, which is basically pretty much any event that is put into play. And if you use it with Trunks, you even draw a card. Oh my god, this card, if it would exist, it shouldn't exist in Super. I've talked about this previously. The -2, -2, -2 turn cost stuff, it's purely villain. That's what villain does. So this breaks the color pie, if there is such a thing in Dragon Ball. But hey, I have access to it, so I'm of course going to run it. And now here is the changes, because guys, you've seen this technique lineup in the previous deck. We are running 3 Kamehamehas, and that's why I was calling out all the different Hermit style cards. But just to reiterate, we got Yamcha, we got Goku. Trunks can use them because he's Saiyan and Super Symbol. Same for Goten, Saiyan and Super Symbol. Mutaito is Hermit style. Tien is Hermit style. Kibito Kai can't use it. GT Goku can use it, and Gohan can use it because he's Saiyan and Super. So pretty much everybody in the deck can use Kamehameha. If you use it with Goku, then obviously, if the guy doesn't have toughness, he's gone. But even if he does have toughness, that means that you deal him at least 1 damage with this, and then if you win, then he still gets the 2nd damage because they don't happen. So action phase, after action, you have the showdown. So that's when you compare who's in injured status, who's in healthy status, and all that stuff. So this is basically pretty much an immediate KO. The only thing is I'm still a little bit torn between Kamehameha and potentially running Power Pole, just because Power Pole does draw you an extra card. And then if you do decide to run Power Pole, I highly recommend that you swap the Mutaito and the other 2 Trunks for the set 4 Earth Trunks, which draws you a card if he's using a tool technique. That's the only change I would say. But I ran that previously, and to be fair, I find very easy excuses not to run Kamehamehas in different decks, because it is really expensive. It's 3 chi. But what it does, it's crazy good. Like just dealing out damage like that, it's just so good, and it can get you to an OV super quickly as well. So yeah, this definitely stays. I mean, I haven't done any playtesting with this deck yet, but I've done plenty of playtesting with its predecessor, so I have a very good idea as to what works here and what not. And now these are 12 techniques, but as I said, Dirty Trick gives you basically 6 techniques, so that's 15 techniques in the deck. If you run Preparation for Battle, it's a 2 turn cost 1 Earth Chi card with a time limit of 3. At the end of a turn, if a warrior you control became the user of a technique this turn, you may draw a card. So this guy is going to draw the fuck out of our deck. We got 12 techniques basic, but Dirty Trick can be reused, so we can technically say we got 15. And remember, Tien also can bring back another technique into our hand. So if you just play one of these a game, then you're basically looking at having 16 techniques in your deck with 2 Tien, 17 techniques, and that gives us enough room to wiggle around and draw a card every turn of Preparation for Battle. What's really important about this card is not just the end of your turn, the end of your opponent's turn as well. So if you can, it's super easy. Okay, you got like, I don't know, turn 2, let's say you got Goten out, let's say you got Trunks out. Your turn, Trunks uses a Dirty Trick, goes into your chi. Opponent's turn, let's say maybe you pay heavy, but you are going to play a Kamehameha. You send the Dirty Trick into your graveyard. Opponent's turn, you use the Kamehameha. Excellent. This goes into your chi. You draw a card. Your turn, you're out of technique cards, but you're not, because you got a Dirty Trick in your graveyard. You then play this for 1 generic chi. You draw another card again. So every time you use a technique, you draw another card. So chances are you basically have 12 techniques in the deck, which is more than a quarter of your deck. But with obviously the redundancy of Dirty Trick and having Tien in play, you're realistically looking at a pseudo number of being able to easily have access to up to a pseudo 15, 16, 17 techniques. So what are the chances of you drawing a card and that being a technique? Very high. Very, very high. Now if you get 2 of those preparation for battles out for whatever reason, you're drawing 2 cards. You use one dirty trick from your graveyard, you draw 2 cards. That card is going to allow you to completely just sculpt your own chi, because you're going to be charging from your hand. You're not going to be charging from your deck. Even if you do, we've got quite a few cards with backup. Don't forget that we have Trunks, we have Goten, we have Yamcha, we have Tien with backup. Kibitogai has backup, but you can't bring him back. You don't have any other alien or unique cards in the deck. But you have a lot of backup cards. Even if you do charge them off your deck, you still have access to them. But what you want to do is go and fish for this preparation for battle. Highly recommend you keep it in your starting hand if you can, because that card is gold. That card is an underrated card. Nobody talks about it, and it can just draw so many cards. It just needs the right setup, and we're maximizing that as much as we can. We are running pretty much every single little trick in our bag to allow us to be able to carry on playing techniques. The only other way that you could do is you will really have to dive with the deck. You could potentially run 2 old guys if you're happy to drop something, if you're happy to drop the Chaozu. You can actually go ahead and drop the Chaozu if that's what you want to do, or if you don't like the Ramfan setup, although I would keep the Ramfan setup. But 2 Chaozu can be dropped. You still get that 2 support power, and then you can obviously put cards back into your deck. But I just love that little Chaos coming down, supporting TM with that additional +1/+0 and 10. I think that's really cool. So there you go. But you can improve it, and obviously, why am I not running Dr. Reload? Many people ask me that question. Well, because it's in fucking every deck. That's why. Peace out, YouTube. Saiyan signing out.